Look at this. These are not the blocks that I placed. I believe someone has spilt some water in this area and they haven't even bothered to tidy it up after themselves. Or maybe they never actually noticed. It doesn't matter though, I'm happy to repair this up and get the base in tip-top shape. Because, as the title of this episode may tell you, we're going to be trying to finish the base, so to speak, today. So welcome back to another episode of Hermitcraft. It's been a while, hasn't it? I know, I've been bad, I've been a bit disorganized. It's been a couple of weeks since the last episode. But what I want to do in this episode today is basically declare the inside of our base finished. Which it won't be until we remove this thing. And I said I would keep it up for a couple of episodes, so we'll honour that and we'll leave it around for a little while longer. It can look over me while I work, that crazy enderoni thing, whatever you want to call it. And what we're going to do is basically finish up a bunch of stuff that means we can look into this inside area of the base and say it is finished, with exception to a project that I have that's going on deep underground, the creeper farm. What we're going to do first of all though, to finish up this area, is focus on this down the bottom here. And all I've got to do is go around and tidy up the mess that has been left behind by torches and other blocks. You can see that we have dirt and granite and coal, and then parts of the wall that aren't in line with other parts, and all of that needs tidying up. I want it to look smooth, so when you look down into this space it's kind of ominous, and the only thing you can see is the mushroom farm in the middle. Now it has just dawned on me, ladies and gentlemen, has it dawned on you too, that something is wrong with this farm, because there is a crazy amount of mushrooms in there. I thought the mob cap was around 5. I guess maybe when other players are on it's going to jump up, so more passive mobs can spawn. Looks like we've got about 10, 11, 12, and then there's some on that floor and a few more there. About 15 of them in total maybe. So something stopped with the flushing mechanism. And where is it actually? It's kind of hard to tell. Let's grab a rocket. I'm sure I've got one here, just a couple left. And now my wings won't deploy, will they, ladies and gentlemen? I'm sick of this problem. Come on, wings. There we go. Right, and now I've got to make sure I find my way over to the side here. Is it that bit there? That kind of looks like it. Yes. So what went wrong with the redstone? Well, I can certainly activate it by walking into the tripwire hook, so that's not the problem. And I never really made an entrance to this room, did I? Let's just break a couple of random blocks. Did I fix this thing? Kind of looks like it should all work. Oh! It didn't do anything. Huh. I think that means there's probably supposed to be a repeater here going into that redstone. But we never had that before. Anyway, I know how to fix the problem now, I guess. Wow, this isn't how I was supposed to start the episode. Didn't realise I was going to be doing some bug fixing. This is all supposed to work. Alright. Bam. There you go. Now that's slowly decaying, so let's pop around the front, do a little bit of parkour, stick our head out, and we can see the water's there. And then the water is retracted. Excellent. Okay, we fixed it. So with my absence from the server for a couple of weeks, I come back on here to start finishing things up. And then I get like waves of inspiration and ideas. So what we've been doing down here is tidying up all of the walls. There is no jankiness now. It is all pure stone. And I've brought this night vision with me so that you can see that. But then I'm getting ideas for like building murals on each of the walls, so you can come down here and see some artwork on either of the sides. I don't know, that sounds like a fantastic idea, but we're going to take things one step at a time and get everything into a finished state first. Over here, we got some light coming through from the other side, so there are some torches back there that I want to remove. As well as that though, I think what we'll do is we'll encase some of this as well, so it's probably those torches that are causing problems, but we'll also grab some stone and fill this in like so. So now that shouldn't be nowhere near as big of a problem. Let's remove the torch from the hotbar and a tiny bit. That's absolutely fine. So now let's go ahead and chug on this night vision potion and bam, you'll see that around all the sides everything is looking pretty good, pretty orderly. I don't think I've missed anything at all. It is nothing but smooth stone. So the area has been tidied up. But if you look upwards, you may notice that there are these quartz blocks sticking out every so often, and that's because there is water behind them on the other side. So that looks a little bit janky, and so does these other blocks that you can see. Like, we've got stone bricks there. Occasionally you can see stuff like a crafting bench. There's stone and stone bricks. It's a little bit unneat. It's also something that I don't think anyone but me is ever going to notice. But what I will do now is just go around and put like a trim of slabs, I think. This ain't the most exciting thing ever, I know. It's far from being exciting at all, but it needs to be done. And I changed my mind a little bit once I got up here. So to cover up those nasty blocks on the edges, we're putting in some stair blocks and then having slabs go across to meet this. So we actually cover up all of this stuff because it does look a little bit janky. And then you've got those lighting glitches as well. So might as well cover all of it up, which I've done around this corner and all across this side. So won't take us too long to get finished up down here. You can't even see that place from down here, but it's done. It's been done all the way around, so we don't have to worry about that. And I've been exploring the base, trying to find little areas that I've just sort of forgotten about, little jobs that are unfinished. There ain't too many at all, but I stumbled across this thing right here. Earlier in the season, it was the derp counter, and then we kind of turned it into a bridge leading to the outside area. And then it just got left like this, and I don't recall ever having a vision or a plan for this. It just kind of got left at this point. So I think what we should do is stick with the grey and green theme that you get from walking across this and just extend some of these hardened clays out over in that direction, come up with a little bit of a design, something like that. This right here is going to get removed. This was from where I was messing around with a tree design. I don't know whatever happened to that actually. There used to be a bunch of trapdoors and stuff, and I had a plan to build a tree farm underground. And I never built that tree farm, and I don't ever know what happened to those plans, but it's all coming back to me now. Anyway, let's chop down this tree and then we'll be able to build that tunnel. I was going to do something a little bit boxy and square here, something simple and straightforward, but then I started getting inspired, and if we just pop over to the other side here, we have a very similar design over here, right? We've got the same slope, we're using the trick on the sides with the floating concrete powder, and I think I'd rather do a flip side to what we've got going on over here. This is kind of industrial and dark with the lava. Well, dark as in dangerous, not as in bright, because it's very bright over here. But I think on the other side we should flip it and we should do something with greenery. So maybe caves like this, except there are vines and leaves hanging off of them. And then underneath, rather than lava, what we could have is water. So on one side we have droppers coming up. So on this side we're going to go in the opposite direction and have jungle wood coming up, and then below it we'll have water flowing over a bunch of blocks. And I just remembered that I was actually going to build this platform out of glowstone. As you'll see, I've got glowstone in my inventory, so maybe what we'll do is put the glowstone just floating underneath these blocks, and then that will be the light source that creeps its way around to the top. Yeah, I think that'll probably work. But anyway, water is going to flow from the back here down over this. I'll fill in all of the blocks in a moment. As you can see, I've sort of spaced out the jungle wood coming up on the side. These are going to be covered in vines and things like that. And now what I'd like to do is get... Jeez. Having a torch on your offhand, there's good things about it and there's bad things about it. I keep placing it down. It's kind of annoying. It's time to change that because we're actually in a well lit up area. Yeah, so they're going to come up, they're going to be like the support beams, then we're going to extend the cave kind of look of the volcano behind it, going downwards and arcing over the top there. And I reckon that this green stuff down here ain't going to look so good if it's as bold as it is at the moment. So what we'll probably do is come over here, grab some things like slabs and stairs, and just put them in at different heights. Maybe up there, and then start to throw in stone blocks around it to kind of bring it all together. Let's just see what this kind of looks like here. So it's going to keep that sort of shape, right? So then you've got to bring it out further at the front here and do stuff like that. I reckon it could work. We'll hide the lamps as well. Maybe that one there stays lit so there's a bit of light coming straight down onto the first part of the path. That makes a lot of sense. That's the way it's going to work, people. Yeah, I think we're onto an idea here. It's going to look good. It's going to look even better when we start adding some leaves and stuff in here. But you do very much transition into the cave like that. So all going good. Down below we're kind of ready to put in the water, which I'm not actually going to do straight away, because if we go back up the top, you'll see that there's some lighting glitches going on here with the path. And I don't think that looks very good. So we need to turn these into full slabs underneath, I think. Well, it's these ones here that are brighter. Are they the ones that are in line with the block? No. So I think if we add some slabs at that height right there, it might cancel out the lighting thing. And also, the light doesn't travel around that much. I think it'd be better if I were to, rather than put one in the middle, maybe put them on either side. But we'll play around with that in a moment, and then I'm going to throw down some water at the back here, and that's going to just flow down all the way to the bottom over here. Well, that hasn't broken the way I wanted it to. Let's do that and get it all to connect. Very good. And you'll see that it doesn't go all the way over to the sides as well, so we'll probably add in some extra water sources just about here, and then the same on the opposite sides. And of course the jungle wood is blocking it. Oh, I'm going to have to do so much water management here, but we'll get it all working. And it'll end up looking good, trust me. And you can see the glowstone all in place now. So let's go above and see what it looks like. It should be a little bit brighter. We should have no bugs as well. Yep, there you go. The path looks good and it's well lit as well. Excellent. And just like on the other side, by the way, as I'm going to start to build up the walls on the side now, we'll also have water sort of dripping out and going down to the bit of water that you can see down here. So we've got to sort that out and get that looking good, because you do actually see it if you sort of walk over on the edge here. Well, my friends, I have been inspired and caught in a trance of placing blocks that I have been in many times this season, as you can probably tell. And that is really similar to the other side, to be fair. And I like the amount of variance on side to side. So when you're doing this, just get your blocks in your hotbar and just go ham. Don't really think about it too much. And then when you walk through here, you'll see all sorts of shapes and lines emerge. Like there's a bit of a bulge just there, but that gives it character. That makes the cave feel unique. And I think the only place where I see a little bit of a problem is maybe the top here. It just gets a little bit flat in places. And if you think about how you build this, or how I built it, I was standing on top of there whilst placing those blocks. It kind of makes sense that it'll end up being a little bit flat. And you know what, I'm going to have to build a temporary platform to place some little hang down bits right here. But the whole thing's turned out fantastic. The water is now flowing down the sides there. That looks really good. And I'm just missing one thing before we go any further with details in here, and that is having some little cracks in the wall where the water flows out and comes down to the bottom here. So I think we'll add a couple of those, and maybe one that drops out of the ceiling as well. From this side, things are looking good, aren't they? That water there is probably just a little bit obvious, but I like that it comes down from the ceiling, and I didn't want to come too close to this stuff as well. Maybe I should have brought it out one block further forward. I'm probably going to go and do that. And water coming out the side there and over here. It all looks so natural and right. I really do like it. Maybe on this side over here it's a little bit more discreet. So perhaps we'll add one more obvious one somewhere around here. But the next step is for me to actually go and farm some greenery. We're going to be bringing some leaves and vines into this area next. I am going to chug a night vision potion because I've had a little bit of an idea up the top here which was to add some more atmosphere to what we're doing. As you can see, I've got a bunch of water blocks here. I'm going to have to be super careful when I break the ones around the edge, because some of these might not actually be blocks from the edge, and then the water could fall down below and ruin the concrete powder. But the blocks below there, they will have water dripping effects, and it looks really cool, and I just wanted to expand it. So we're going to let the water flow over the edges and come down into this like channel that I'm digging around the outside here. Well, there's a problem. This big glob of blocks is going to start to become visible from other angles in the base, isn't it? So I think what we might have to do is extend some of this clay backwards a little bit so it looks like it's part of the same structure, and then it can push on into the darkness a little bit just to help cover this up. I've barely thought about that at all while I've been building this. I haven't given like a thought for a second. So now we can unleash the water. Let it spread over blocks, and it's going to go to the lowest point, so it's not actually going to cover a lot of stuff. Luckily for me, I've got some more ice. I've got a water bucket. I'm going to spread this stuff out, and I'm going to be super careful as I break the blocks here. Like I said a moment ago, could end up breaking some stuff we don't want to. Alright, this will make a difference. Loads of water going around all the sides. So let's go jump down below and check it out, and then we'll see what it looks like from the side after. Oh wow, that's really nice actually. God, there's loads of it dripping everywhere. That's fantastic. This is exactly what we want. And let's just go step back over here. Remember, I got night vision, so everything... Wow, the base feels very different with night vision. That's for sure. It feels bigger in a weird way. You are going to notice that, unfortunately, so we have to do something about this. We've got to make this structure look a little bigger and find a way to cover up. Yep, that'll do it. Don't even look like anything's changed. If you focus on the far side, you'll notice a hint of blue emerges from the right angle, but it's barely visible. And so what I've done there is I've just built up this grey terracotta, which just kind of, you know, becomes a part of the background because it's dark. And I've built it up to the same height, actually a block higher up the top there, and then build it down. And it kind of goes across the back and covers it up, which I now realise is completely pointless because you'll never actually see those blocks. Bang! And it is so difficult to see down here. But yeah, it goes across, and like I said, you won't actually see this, but I don't really need to rip these blocks out, so I guess they're staying there for now. Right, and we can finally grab some leaves and start placing some down on the inside area. What leaf blocks do we... They're not leaves. Where are my leaves? They're in the other green box, aren't they? Alright, here we go. This is the right box, and in there we don't have a lot of leaves. We don't have a lot at all. I think we're going to go with oak. I was thinking maybe jungle, but oak always looks good. And now the question is, like, where to put them and how many? I think we can now say that this project is done. I like the leaves in here. I think I've distributed them well enough to make them feel like little growths rather than, I don't know, groups of leaves or like the tops of trees, because some of them are sort of bundled up near the top of the woods. What I'd like to do right now though is just, oh actually that's too bright. That's very toxic looking because it's in this biome. I was going to have them spread out across all of the wood. Maybe put a little bit on the stones as well. Oh, do you know what? It's just too bright. And I was thinking another way to bring green in here was to use mossy cobblestone. In this Minecraft, it doesn't look that great. In the new resource pack, it looks amazing. I've been playing with the new resource pack a lot on the Let's Play Minecraft Together server, and I gotta say, I think it's a huge step forward for the game actually. Now that I've gotten used to those textures, you come back to these ones and occasionally you just see the shortcomings of them, like mossy cobblestone, which in this texture pack, unfortunately, doesn't look all that good. Alright, so next I want to rip out this chorus plants over here. That was a little bit of an experiment to possibly surround the outside with them. And they don't really add a lot. They're also kind of dark. And do you know what? I just want to get rid of them. I don't really feel like that worked out very well at all. And while we head over there to tear them down, I want to talk about the Hardcore Hermit series that I recorded with False and Scar. I had a really good time playing with them. Unfortunately, in my comments, quite a lot of people were angry with me. This happens every time I play multiplayer, so I kind of want to reiterate things. When I'm recording a video, I'm thinking about what I'm saying, and I'm thinking about what you're seeing and what I'm doing. These are things you have to do on the fly as you're talking. That takes a lot of brain power. And at the end of a long day, after a long recording session where you've been recording video after video, you tend to start to not get very good at playing with your teammates. I'm not good at it anyway, but a lot of people were pointing out they were saying things to me that I wasn't quite hearing or taking in, and some of the comments were kind of nasty as well. I just want to say, you know, always try and make the story for someone, give them the benefit of the doubt, right? Because I've got my reasoning for why I was a bit of a derpy teammate. Like I said, it was a long day. I'm not particularly good at this kind of stuff anyway. Most of the videos I make, I'm just playing by myself, and when I play with other people, I have a little bit of a hard time listening to what they're saying while I'm focusing on what I'm saying myself to all of you guys and thinking about what you're seeing, which is, I guess, unless you're a YouTuber yourself, maybe something you don't experience, because you know, you're not thinking when you're playing about what someone else is seeing and what you're looking at, and if you're conveying the things that you're trying to do. There's a lot that goes into making videos, you know. It all happens on the fly live as well. There's a gap here that shouldn't be there. Let's fill that in. There's probably one over on this side as well. Yeah, how did I manage to do all of that? Okay, but there's none on this side. Cool. And we can finish collecting these items now. This area kind of leads us to our next place. We need to tidy up this project and call it finished. We're going to finish putting in the witch hut. And then over on this side, I built something during a live stream ages ago. Not sure if I actually showed it in an episode yet. So somewhere around here, there should be a way to go down. There it is. So you can kind of parkour in and out of this part of the project. And now there is a little caving tunnel leading into a stronghold. And in here, we can, of course, put a silverfish or something like that. But it'll also be a dimension to the end. A dimension to the end. That made a lot of sense. A way to get to the end dimension. So down here, what we're going to start doing is digging out this space so that you can drop down into the end dimension where we can store an Enderman head and also the Ender Dragon head as well. Alright, so I've been out and about making myself some black concrete, and I've just burned through all of it because if we just walk down here, I've started building an end dimension of my own as it goes. You can't really see it until you're in it. If I look upwards, darkness. Absolute darkness, which means that in here we can build a like an end platform. And I think what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to have this come out like so, and then just put it one block up. So if you fall off of this little thing in the middle, which will be the end island, then it's not the biggest deal in the world, you know, to get back on top of it. However, when you're down here, you will need ender pearls to get in and out of this area, as the only way in is through the top up there. So what we're going to do is have some obsidian pillars. We're basically going to recreate the end dimension in this little space, and I'm thinking I might also have like a purple Ender City thing over here, although it's probably not going to be big enough, but we could have a few blocks that go off to the side like a little tunnel, and then over there a purple city. Another thing we need to think about is the lighting. The darker we keep it in here, the better the illusion, but at the same time it could be tricky to see. So we probably need a very subtle light source in the middle of this area, and then things will kind of play out well. So here's the illusion. We drop down and bam, we are in the end dimension. Wow. Very cool. Also, Tidmouth, my friend, if you're watching, thank you so much for the inspiration for this project. This is based off what Tidmouth was doing on the plot world, building mini biomes as well. I'm not sure if I pulled this off the same way as Tidmouth did, but I do feel like the light at the moment is a little bit underwhelming until we put a torch there, because you don't really get to see the obsidian. Now, I was thinking too bright means you spoil the illusion, but you don't really, like you can't even see any of the blocks. Even if I zoom in, it's kind of hard to make out any edges and lines. So I think what we'll do is we'll move the light source up so it's not as dim. And then over here we have our end city, which I'm not entirely sold on that. I mean, it's hard to make things look good with such a small block palette. But over here is where we're going to put one of the heads. It will be, of course, the shulker head. I think that's an outdated one as well, actually, because we update the textures from time to time on these mob head drops. So we've got that in there. Then we're going to have these two heads, and I really don't know where to put them, to be fair. Maybe this one can just have its head like that, and we could put a lever on the back so it's animated. That would be kind of cool. And then the Enderman, maybe we'll put it on an armor stand with some leather armor. I wish we had like a black half slab, because I could put this on top of that and it would make it look a little bit taller, right? Here is our Enderman who's going to occupy the area and stare at us. There's another one of these though that we could put in the area as well, and that's an Endermite Head. And I had a look through the chests and I haven't got one yet, so we've got looting free here. If I throw Ender Pearls over and over again, then eventually we're going to get an Endermite here, and then I can behead it. I could have swore I did this earlier in the season. I went and walked through all the different areas and I couldn't find an Endermite. So if we can get one to spawn, then I can have a shot at getting an Endermite Head. Hey, there we go. I've got no idea what the rate is. Jeez, you're hard to hit. There we go. Didn't drop anything, did ya? Silverfish. There is another mob that we need the head from. They're in there so that the silverfish don't spawn anywhere else, because it's filled the little cap for this spawner. But anyway, we're heading to the end dimension because I've run out of ender pearls in my ender chest, and I figured, hey, my pickaxe is looking pretty beat, so are my wings. Why don't I come over here, grind out some repairs, get lots of pearls, and then try this over and over again, because there is a 5% chance of looting free of getting this Endermite Head, and it takes about 2 stacks to get 1 Endermite, so we're going to be here for a while. Why am I still killing Endermites? I've been in a trance, people. I've been in a trance. So much so that I actually got 2 Endermite Heads. When I saw one of them drop on the ground and I picked it up, I had 2 in my inventory, so I must have gotten one already. So that's terrific. And there is another mob head that we need to go and get. That is the silverfish head, which we can't get from our own silverfish spawner because we have locked some of them in a cage with name tags to kind of disable them spawning. So we need to go somewhere else entirely to figure that one out. Also, I got over 50 levels of XP. I was just remembering when enchanting was first added, you needed 50 levels of XP to make the top level enchantment. I'm actually really glad that they lowered it down to 30. But who's been playing that long? Let me know in a comment. I had to go and look it up. It was May 2012. I didn't actually think it was that long ago. That's 6 years ago. Well, almost 6 years. Also, Wells is over here, by the way. He showed me how to get to a end portal that has a silverfish spawner, and we were discussing different ways of getting to kill the silverfish. The most efficient way around here has actually been to get one to spawn, and rather than kill it, to then hit it a bunch of times, because each time the silverfish takes damage, it spawns in some buddies. And so you can see pretty quickly we're getting a crazy amount, and now they're starting to do a lot of damage to me. Another strategy well suggested was that we could have gone to an extreme hills biome, set up a beacon, done some underground digging, and then we would have found some silverfish blocks pretty quickly. Those are some really good ways of getting silverfish. And this right here, by the way, I've torn out all the blocks around it because Wells is going to be turning this into one big end portal room. And look, I got a silverfish head. I've lost track of Wells. I was going to creep up on him and scare him with my new silverfish face. Got no idea where he is. And I got no idea if I'm going to be able to get out of here safely as well, because I fell down onto a hay bale to get to this spot. Yikes. And I'm on fire. That's not very pleasant. So this is Wells's tunnel design. It's pretty cool. I think it's built under a lava lake as well. So, you know, flammable wood, lava. Not a problem here on Hermitcraft. Yeah, this is what I suspected. How am I supposed to get back out of here? I guess because you're going to the end, it's supposed to be a one-way trip. So it would have made more sense for me to have used that portal. Here's another idea that may result in my death. Let's fall down, press space. Well, that didn't work. Let's try again. Fall down, press. Yeah, yeah. Wings? No. This is annoying. Okay, there we go. There we go. Excellent. One more rocket, and I'm out, and I'm alive. Right, oh, fell back in! Oh, that's just amazing. Oh. So earlier in the episode, I mentioned wanting to do something that later on I realised is actually doable. Let's put the silverfish there so it can greet us on our way down into the end dimension. So this enderman right here, I want to raise by like half a slab, don't I? Let's go down here. Half a slab is a half. And I need to break that block. Then I need to put in a fence post. See where I'm going with this? And then I've got some black concrete powder. So let's go drop that in there, and we have created a black half slab. I now realise that maybe that actually doesn't look so good. Armour stands. The armour stand drops all the way through. Oh, never mind then. I thought that it would stay at the same height as this thing right here, which I now can't remove because it's floating on this thing. So let's go remove it. So the armour stand is actually at the same height. Thing is, it's the bottom of the block, right? So when we drop that in, they're both at the same height down here, but that goes up by a block. So good idea. Unfortunately, it's not going to work, so we'll just return things to normal. Alright, Mr. Enderman has been restored, and we're going to put the Endermite buddy just down over here on this side, and I keep forgetting it, so I'm going to do it now. I'm going to put a lever on the back of that. And that, my friends, is the end of that project. We've got all of the mob heads for this part of the Minecraft world sorted out in a very nice project. I really like how this one has turned out, and that is the one problem with it, is sometimes getting out of here can be a bit of a pain in the butt. My ambition for this episode was to say that the inside of our base is finished. Yikes. Well, I'll repair that in a second. And for the most part, it is. We're going to be left with 2 projects to do, but otherwise, visually, I think everything is in order. We're going to remove the Enderoni guy in the next episode, of course, and I just need to move this chest. This is like the last odd thing that's laying around here out of place. So I need to organize these mob heads and figure out which ones need to go inside the project. So the 2 things that are actually not finished on the inside of our base, one of them is the mob heads project. If we just have a little wander through here together, there are 2 other parts to be built. One of them is the village, which is going to go on the back there. However, we don't have a lot of space, so it may very much just be one little interior area, and that's it. The next thing is the witch hut, and what I want to do with the witch hut is turn it into a gallery for all of the other heads that we haven't put inside the particular biomes. There's only a handful of them left, so I figure what we'll also have is a little structure here, and that's going to have some mob heads in on armor stands, something like that. So the one other project we are left with to do inside the base isn't even visible. It's actually deep underground, somewhere down below this region. It is the creeper farm, and we have this minecart elevator right here to get up and down between our projects. So that'll eventually lead down there. That'll be a project for another day, but it pretty much means we're very close to the inside of the base being 100% finished. And then when it comes to the outside of the base, I got kind of burned out on this a while back, as you all know, because I stopped working on a lot of these biomes over here. Now, I was massively inspired and really enjoying this until we got to our third biome, and then it kind of fell apart for me. I lost my motivation, it became difficult to get on here, and if we just look at how much stuff there is to do ahead of me, I think that's what kind of slowed me down a little bit. But recently I've been thinking about getting back into this now, and as you can see over on this side, we're going to have a snowy biome over here that's going to cut off at that short point between the water and the volcano. And I'm hoping to get right back into this project. I'm going to call in the help of some of the hermits as well. A couple of people owe me favours. There's a landscaping business. And I thought I'd end off just by letting you know my original plans were to actually have an ice wall over here and turn all of this area, the biggest part, into one giant snowy biome with loads of different features on. And then it would have a natural cutoff point over on this side where the water goes right up to the side of the volcano. But our plans have changed now since False built Evil X over here, and he looks absolutely amazing, and I can't move it because it's so awesome. So that'll now be where the snowy biome is. So I've sorted out the mob heads over here. We've actually got quite a lot to place down, although I'm pretty sure I might have already put something like a snowman down, right? There's the white bunny rabbit over there. There's the polar bear. Maybe we'll put the snowman inside of that little building because there's nothing in there. So, white rabbit was it? Yeah, that one's been placed. So these ones over here are ones we've got more than one of. But all of that stuff is now ready and prepared for future episodes. I'm putting together plans. I want to get back to doing the Hermitcraft episodes consistently again, and I got a lot of inspiration at the moment. But that's going to be it from me of this episode. If you have enjoyed it, then leave a like. As always, thank you for your support on the series, and I'll see you soon with another episode of Hermitcraft. Ciao for now. Bye bye.